Greetings, everyone, and happy Friday to you all. You have discovered the Pea Green Boat. We're a place for those who love stories and the art of storytelling, and a cozy home for the young and the young at heart. I am Vicki, your host, and I am so very happy to welcome you all here with me today. Well, this is an extra special day on the Pea Green Boat. Today, we are honoring storytelling that is brought to us in the form of a live orchestra. We are at the Zootown Arts Community Center, lovingly called the ZAC here in Missoula, broadcasting live with the Missoula Youth Orchestra. Welcome, everyone. Now, we have such a special show planned for you today, and in a few moments, we will be meeting the co-directors of our orchestra, John Gruber and Michael Johns, of the Missoula Youth Orchestra, and we will be listening to music, learning about instruments, and talking to some of our amazing young musicians and the performers today. Now, you all know I love Shel Silverstein, and I have an honor for all of our guests listening across the grand state of Montana and right here in front of me, a little poem that goes like this. It's called Our Orchestra. So you haven't got a drum, just beat your belly. So you haven't got a horn, I'll play my nose. So we haven't any cymbals, we'll just slap our hands together. And though there may be orchestras that sound a little better with their fancy, shiny instruments that cost an awful lot, hey, we're making music twice as good by playing what we've got. Well, Shel Silverstein, well, we appreciate the sentiment. Today we have got something pretty special. Sitting around me are the 30-some musicians. How many are here? 30-some, they say, young musicians, and two amazing, actually, conductor teachers just waiting to begin playing for you. And judging by all the instruments that I'm seeing, I am guessing our performers will be playing more than their bellies and their noses. So I have been so excited for this live broadcast with the Missoula Youth Orchestra. I started thinking about all of the beautiful ways that music enters our life. And I'm wondering how many of you can relate to some of these thoughts. Music has been referred to as a magic key that opens hearts. Music, when performed live, has been compared to a type of sculpture. The air is, as music is performed, being sculpted and created into something beautiful, just for you. One of my favorite playwrights, William Shakespeare, said, "If music be the food of love, play on." And a famous composer named Glenn Branca once claimed, when I hear a great rock band, it can make me feel alive. But when I hear a great orchestra, it can make me feel human. Whether music is a form of magic, sculpture, food, or a chance to be human, today we celebrate as a chance to come together in community with our young musicians serving as our storytellers today, because here on the Pea Green Boat, music is storytelling. I now turn my eyes over to our wonderful conductor, one of the co-conductors, I guess. Hello to you, and welcome, Michael Johns.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be here on the Pea Green Boat. I've been listening to the program for many years, and my son and I, and we're just thrilled to be here.
Well, we're excited to have all of you here. I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit about this incredible orchestra that we have before us here today.
What you're seeing is the Missoula Youth Orchestra, and this is an audition-only group, so each of the kids had to play a scary audition to get into the group. And so these guys meet only once a week for an hour and a half. And so each director shares the time. So we get about 35, 40 minutes with these guys. So they have to do a lot of this work on their own at home. And you'll see the result of that in a moment, or here rather.
Well, we're looking forward to it. And I'm looking out at the sea of beautiful faces with their instruments ready to go. And I think that we are all ready as well. So shall we begin?
That would be wonderful. I'm going to turn it over to my co-director, Mr. Jason Gruber. Jason Gruber teaches at C.S. Porter Middle School. I teach at Meadow Hill Middle School, and Mr. Gruber is going to step up and lead the orchestra in a piece, and he'll go ahead and introduce it.
Wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Missoula Youth Orchestra right here on the Pea Green Boat.
All right.
You are listening to the Pea Green Boat. I am Vicki, your host. So happy to have you here. And we are listening to the Missoula Youth Orchestra and John Gruber, the conductor there for that one. John, what was the name of that piece that you launched into there?
That piece was called, well, I go back and forth about how to pronounce it because it's named after George Friedrich Handel. So it should be Handelian maybe, but we just call it Handelion sometimes.
Handelion?
Yeah, because it
I
rhymes
like
with
that.
the flower, right? That's kind of fun.
So, when I'm watching you all perform, and I do think of you as storytellers. And storytellers, when we come together in community, what happens is we all bring our own voice, and we all bring our own song, and we all bring our own story. But we come together in community, and I think it's a part of playing. And the other part of playing is, I'm guessing, listening. Yeah. So I think that the music of an orchestra is such a beautiful example of storytelling. But we're talking about individual parts of your lovely orchestra right now, and I'm wondering if we can move a microphone over to the violins. Can we do that? So what we have here, for those of you that are listening at home, we have a large boom mic making its way over to the violins. And, all right, I believe that I'm going to be talking to Danica. Where is Danica? There she is. She's right there in the front row. Hi, Danica. Hi there. Okay, so Danica, the very first thing I'm going to ask you, can you explain for the young people listening at home, and they are listening and being inspired by you right now, what can you tell them about a violin? How do you play it? What is it? All of that.
A violin is a stringed instrument, and it's one of the highest pitches in the orchestra with G, D, A, and E strings. And you play it by having a bow with rosin and rubbing it horizontally across the string.
Wow. How long have you been playing the violin?
I have been playing the violin for 8 years.
Oh, Danica, that is so inspiring. That's amazing. That takes a lot of commitment. All right, now I have one question for you. If you were to give a message to all of the young people that are listening to you right now who maybe are thinking about possibly going into music or orchestra, what would you say?
Even though it's hard, it's really fun, so stick with it.
That's a great message. It's hard, but it's fun. All right. So now my understanding is you all, the violins, are going to play something for us right now. Is that right? Yes. Okay. It's that blank look I remember from my teaching days when you ask a crowd of people something and they just look at you. All right. So we have a violin piece that is coming our way. And what is the name of this piece?
Well, we're going to do a section from the next piece that we're about to play called Gauntlet by Doug Spada. And I'm going to have the first and second violins play together at measure 17, okay? And they're going to play at measure 17. And so what we have is we have first violins. They're all the same, but typically first violins get more melody parts, and second violins get more harmony. Sometimes there's like negative connotations between first and second, A and B. It's the same thing. We can't exist without either one, right? And so we have first and second violins are going to play this lovely little melody here. And what did I say? Measure 17. And so we'll start there and play a little bit for you. How about we go 17 to 25, kids?
All right. I am so glad we are doing this, sort of separating different parts of the orchestra out, letting us hear their own voice. And I bet we're now going to hear the whole piece.
You'll hear the whole piece.
All
yes.
right. And I also want to say, live radio, Jason Gruber, not John. Please forgive me. Oh, well, I only want to say the best things to you. So, live radio. Okay. So, are you ready for this next piece?
Yes, this is a piece called, as I said earlier, Gauntlet by Doug Spada. Doug writes a lot of band music. He's a band composer and branched out into the orchestral world, and we are very grateful. The kids love this piece, Gauntlet.
Awesome. Here we go. Wow, that was amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, you are with the Pea Green Boat. This is Vicki, your host, and we are live at the ZAC, the Zootown Arts Community Center, and we are listening to the Missoula Youth Orchestra with co-directors Jason Gruber and Michael Johns, and this incredible group of young people. Can we give them another round of applause, please? You know, there's a very famous quote by Hans Christian Andersen, famous storyteller, and he said, "Where words fail, music speaks." And I think sometimes that really is true. Music is its own language. And when I was watching you play, I was remembering how you said this was your favorite piece. and it felt like that piece had a lot to say. So I would love to sit down with you and find out what it meant to you. But here's what we're going to do. If it's all right with you, Michael, I would love to go into another section. How about the violas? Could we have the violas? Now, I had a chance to meet our viola player. First chair, her name is Rhea. Hi, Rhea. Am I saying your name correctly? Yes. Okay, good. I want to make sure. All right, so Rhea, you are here with a viola, and I have a very first question because I've noticed that a viola looks a little bit like a violin. Can you tell us what is the biggest difference between a viola and a violin?
Yes, a viola is basically a small cello. It has C, D, G, and A string.
Yeah. All right. Hey, that's that. So it's a small cello. That's why you're sitting next to the cellos in the orchestra. Cello. So I love it. Okay, now, Ray, I have a question for you. All right. We're talking about all of these wonderful benefits of the orchestra. Can you tell me about an important lesson that you think you have learned from playing in the orchestra?
I think I've learned that practicing things that aren't always easy is a big lesson.
Yeah, challenging yourself, right? Challenging yourself. You know what? I think what all of these students represent to me are, we're not looking for an easy way out. It is challenging. It is very challenging, but it's also rewarding. And the more that you push yourself, the more rewarding it gets. I love that. So, Michael, last time we sort of sectioned out the violins and sort of heard a little bit of their voice within the whole. Do you think we could do that again with the violas?
Yeah, Mr. Gruber's going to
good.
do a little section of the march. And I just wanted to, I forgot to mention this a moment ago, but this group works in concert with our group of advanced 5th and 6th graders. And so it's called Missoula Concert Strings, and we're hoping that maybe Children's Corner will feature that group maybe in the spring. And so we have 2 other directors that are in the house, Angelica Kalis and Dylan Johns. And so a round of applause for those folks. Thank you so much. Without their hard work, this wouldn't be possible. And then these students will go on to feed the Missoula Youth Symphony. And so that's kind of
fantastic.
The next level for us.
That's so exciting.
Mr. Gruber.
All right, Mr. Gruber is walking up to the microphone here. And tell us again what the name of this piece is.
So this piece that you're about to hear is an arrangement of a march by Gustav Holst, who was a famous English composer with a German name who wrote for military band. And we decided, well, the arranger here decided to take it and arrange it for string orchestra. And it's a beautiful arrangement, and you're going to hear that these kids do a very good job with it. If it's okay with you, I'd like to tell a little bit more context about the viola, because the viola, as you mentioned, looks like a violin, but is really more of a tiny cello. And there's a section in this that really speaks to that aspect of playing the viola. And if it's okay with you, what I'd like to do is I'd like to highlight this section. It's going to start at 41, that section right there, that area. And the reason why I picked this area is because you can hear the cellos accompanying the viola, and then you can hear the viola matching with the violins right after that. So it's that world in between.
All right, so what we're going to do right now is play a section of it so we can hear that. Well, that is very exciting. All right, so you're getting ready here, and I want to remind everybody that you are listening to the Pea Green Boat, and we are listening to the Missoula Youth Orchestra, and right now we're just listening to a section of the violas.
So if you were listening right there, what
Right.
happened was they were in their low range on the instrument, and that matches this larger instrument, the cello. And then when they moved to that next section, when they went to their higher voice, that's going to line up with the violins in the large group performance.
I love that.
Yeah.
And it drives home that idea again that we all have our own voice and we come together and we just make it work. All right, so now we're going to hear the whole piece. All right, so tell us one more time the name of the piece.
This is March by Gustav Holst from the First Suite for Military Band.
All right, this is the Missoula Youth Orchestra on Montana Public Radio. Well, that was amazing. That, again, the Missoula Youth Orchestra. Tell us again the name of the song.
March, Gustav Holst.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I have a little quote here for you because I've been thinking about this experience all week. And this is a thought that goes like this. So much more than a story is shared when reading or playing music with young people. Calm is shared. Love is shared. Sharing is shared. Learning is shared. Curiosity is shared. This builds creative minds, the capacity for empathy, gratitude, imagination, and thinking. So we would like to take a moment and thank the Missoula Youth Orchestra and their wonderful co-conductors for bringing this storytelling with us here today. Thank you, everybody, so much. And all of you, yes, clap for them. So speaking of stories, this is what we're going to do right now. We're going to take a little break, or as my friend from Scotland would say, a wee break, all right? And we're going to play a little story for you. We're going to let the orchestra catch their breath. The name of the story that I have for you today is called Family Dynamics, Embrace Your Sound, and it is written by Courtney Vowell Woodward. It's about a little violin searching for her sound. So I picked that just for you kids out here. So I think you'll enjoy it. We'll take a break, little story, and we'll come back right after that with the Missoula Youth Orchestra right here on the Pea Green Boat. All right, we are back once again here at the ZAC in Missoula with the Missoula Youth Orchestra. Welcome back to the Pea Green Boat, everybody. Let's give a big wahoo! I am Vicki, your host. So happy to be here on this really special day, along with co-directors Jason Gruber and Michael Johns. And we are just really having a nice time playing music, educating people on this incredible orchestra. And so I believe we are going to move into another section of our orchestra and talk to somebody. Is that right?
Yep, that would be wonderful.
All right. So am I moving over to the cellos or the basses?
You can go to cellos if you want.
Cellos it is. All right. So I am here in the cello section. The boom mic is coming in if you want the behind the scenes going on here today. And I am talking with, I believe, Gavin. First chair Gavin, who's getting hit on the head with the boom mic, but he's maintaining his composure as musicians often do.
As
All right.
always.
As always. All right, so Gavin, here's a question, and this is a question we could talk to any of you here, and if we have time, maybe we will, okay? Here's the question. Tell me about the moment when you knew that you wanted to play music. How did it happen?
Probably back when I was 7 when I started playing piano, and I really realized that music is what I wanted to do.
Yeah. Now, was it an easy journey, or has it taken a little bit of a winding journey?
It's always been kind of a winding journey. You know, there's easy times, and then there's the harder times that you want to quit, but you got to keep going through.
All right. I'm going to ask you a question, and I'll share with you, because this is a visual. Can I have a show of hands for all of the musicians, the times when you have thought that being in the orchestra was really hard, and maybe you even thought that you wanted to quit because it got so hard? Show of hands. Let me see. Now, you can't see this if you're listening at home, but a lot of the hands are coming up, including from our illustrious our co-directors. Now, for those of you sitting in my audience, for those of you that are listening at home, you can raise your hand, and I'll try to see you from there. How many of you have ever done something that was so hard that you wanted to quit, but you didn't? Raise your hand if you've ever done something. Now, I'm seeing a sea of hands coming up around me, all right? So what you are getting here is the value of doing something important and the pride I think you feel, I'm wondering if you feel, from doing something hard that you stick with. Yeah, all right, that's an amazing thing to say. I have a lot of proud parents sitting around me and grandparents sitting around me out here going, that's my kid right there. Okay, so I would like to hear a little bit of music, if I could, from our bass section. Cello. You know what just happened earlier? I'm going to share behind the scene moments, friends. I sat here with Gavin and I said, now, is this a cello or bass? And he gave me this look, and he just gave me a look. He's the sweetest guy. And he said, it's a cello. And I said, you're judging me, aren't you? And he said, maybe a little. So then I did it again. All right, Gavin, are you ready to lead the cellos? All right, let's do this.
Be great. So we're going to go back to our piece Gauntlet. And so just a little bit of background of this. We have 3 pieces prepared. We have a folder full of music. But again, we only get these guys for an hour and a half a week. So we're preparing for our tour coming up, but that's in the spring. So we're going to go back to Gauntlet, and we're going to play kiddos from 25 to 33.
All right, the cellos are getting ready. Remember, you are with Montana Public Radio.
Let's have another run at that. Thank you so much. Confidence.
All right, that was actually really wonderful. I have a question for you. I once heard a professional musician say, he said, "If I do not practice once a day, I know it. If I do not practice the next, the orchestra knows it. If I do not practice the third day, the whole world knows it." How important is practice? How many hours a week do we practice? Click your music stands if you think practicing is really important. Let's listen. Very important. So don't know if I may speak for everybody here, but I think I'm hearing a lot of practice, the result of a lot of practice here. So well done. Now, I've been told that we have some Christmas holiday-ish kind of music. Is this true?
That is correct.
All right, we're going to come back with one last interview with the bass section back there. But before that, maybe we could have another piece of music.
Sure, let's just do a little holiday tune.
All right, what are we going to be listening to here?
Let's do Jolly Old St. Nicholas.
Oh, jolly old St. Nicholas.
And as we do, we're going to feature the violin section. We did this a little bit earlier today, and we're going to have a section spotlight on the violin section halfway through this piece.
Perfect. All right, thank you. fantastic. Oh, we are listening to the Missoula Youth Orchestra live here at the ZAC in Missoula with co-directors Jason Gruber and Michael Johns. Thank you so much. And you know what? It's December 1st, so we are officially allowed to play all of this great music. I'm pretty sure they allow us that now. I don't know, though my daughter has been playing it since August, but that's another story. All right, so I have to tell you that when you stand and you look at any orchestra, you see them sitting in this beautiful half circle, and they sit at attention. I'm very interested how you sit with your instruments on your knee and you're waiting for the next direction from your director. But way at the back, you have what looks like a rather interesting group. They are very smiley. They seem like there may be a sense of humor back there because they are playing the tallest instruments I have ever seen. They are taller than me. Now, I know what you're going to say. I know I'm horizontally challenged, but I'm going to tell you that they're really tall. And I believe this. See, Gavin, I'm learning. This is the basses back there. Is that correct? All right, and I am talking to a bass player. What is your name?
My name is Ian Madsen.
Your name is what again?
Ian Madsen.
Ian. Okay, so Ian, you are going to talk to us right now about what? What? I asked you a little question beforehand, and you jumped at it. What is something, I have to tell you, I asked Ian, do you want to talk about what you're most proud of? And he said, oh, yes, oh, yes. And I said, well, because I have other questions I could ask you. And he said, no, we got to talk about what I'm most proud of. You got a big smile on your face. So, Ian, you're a part of this amazing youth orchestra. What is something you are most proud of?
I feel like the thing that I'm most proud of is even like being able to participate in this group. Last year, I was in MCS, and I dreamed about being in this group. And to even be able to play in this group is amazing, and I'm super proud.
That is so awesome. And it shows, doesn't it? Yes, it really shows. It is an honor. And I did hear that this is by audition only, this group. So you have to really work to get into the group. Well, thank you. Does anybody else want to share one more thing that you're really proud of before we go into what I believe is one more holiday piece of music? Is that right?
Yes, we have that. I thought maybe we could show the listeners at home what the basses sound like, just their section alone.
That's right.
Because we don't want to leave them out.
Was I going to isolate you? Oh, now the bass players are looking at me. Smile's gone. Smile's gone. They're gripping those cellos. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so the basses, we're going to play just a part.
Just a little part. And this is, I picked this part of a piece that you heard earlier, the Handelion, the Handelian. I picked this part because it is very normal for bass sections to play this type of music. I'm a bass player myself, actually, and this is the kind of stuff that is our bread and butter in the orchestra.
Oh,
this is what we do.
Really?
The heartbeat.
The heartbeat.
Yes.
The basses are the heartbeat of the orchestra. Oh, I like that. No wonder you're so proud back there. All right. Here they go. I'm sorry I was in the back there with that with that lovely deep voice. I think if I were to join an orchestra, I would want to play the cello. I think because I could stand in the back and hide behind it. I don't think anybody would see me. Oh, did I say cello again?
All the kids are correcting you
Oh
now.
gosh. You guys, this has been a hard day for me. And look at, they're lifting up those boats. I'm telling you right now, Gavin is shaking his head. He's like, you try and teach him. I want to play the bass. Not the cello. Sorry. I'm just kidding. I'm really kidding. All right. Who would like to play us another piece of music? Is this your last piece of music? They're shaking their heads up and down. This is their last piece of music. As we go into this last piece of music, could I encourage all of our listeners, the ones that are here and the ones that are stretched across our big backyard of Montana, could I suggest that you really listen for all those individual voices, all the individual instruments that you've been learning about today, that the kids have been sharing. Can you tell the difference between a cello and a bass? I can now. Can you? Now, can listen and see what you hear. And the next time you hear a piece of orchestra music, see if you can pick out the individual instruments. What did you learn today? I'm so interested. All right, we're ready for our last song. What is it?
This will be a traditional English holiday carol called Good King Wenceslas.
All
Hard
right.
to spell.
It is hard to spell and say. All right, the orchestra gets ready for their last piece. The Missoula Youth Orchestra friends right here on the Pea Green Boat. What an absolutely wonderful ending. Can we please have one last huge round of applause for the amazing Missoula Youth Orchestra? Oh, they're lovely. And I want to remind everybody out there, wherever you're listening in Montana, that youth orchestras are all over our great state. If you want to find a youth orchestra, please look into it and join one. Somebody told me this is a quote from Beethoven. I don't know if it's true or not, that Beethoven once said, "Music will change the world." Yep. I don't know if Beethoven said that or not, but I assure that this wonderful group of young people playing music and storytelling will absolutely change the world. So thank you again, everyone. All right, I also want to now, here, as we are wrapping up our Pea Green Boat, want to give thanks to the Missoula Youth Orchestra, its fine leaders, Michael Johns and Jason Gruber, for joining us here at the Pea Green Boat. Thanks to the Zootown Arts Community Center for hosting this event, and thanks to the Missoula Community Access Television for filming it. Thanks to the MTPR team, including Jake Williams, Michael Marsalik, Claire Menahan, Chris Moyles, Michael Jansen, Brian Ramirez, Sam Mano, all of you for inspiring this program. And especially thanks to you, the young and the young at heart, who all make what we do at MTPR possible. I'm Vicki Chaney. This has been a live broadcast of the Pea Green Boat from the ZAC in downtown Missoula, Montana. And this is a production of Montana Public Radio.